Ladies and gentlemen, a warm welcome, Mr. Donald Trump.
Great people.
Is this crowd incredible? It's a nice crowd. Wow. Good to see you. How are you?
Very good. Thank you.
You've got to be happy. New York is next. In the last two polls, you were at 60 and 61%.
Right.
When I look at the state of Pennsylvania, you are up considerably there as well, right here as well. You're up by 16 points. You are now over the 50% mark in Connecticut. You are up to, what, 48% in Maryland. You're up a 20-point lead there. So things seem to have moved in a very positive direction.
I think so. I think it's been amazing. And, you know, Pennsylvania's amazing. I went to school in Pennsylvania. So, I think we're going to do fantastically all over. We have so many great numbers. And New York has been incredible. We have a 40-point lead, and I think we're going to do well. I hope. It's politics. Who knows?
Let's talk about, if you look at the delegate count, right now, you've won 61% of the delegates available. You would need 57% of all delegates remaining, including unbound. Certainly within your capacity, if you have a good showing in New York, Pennsylvania, and some of these states. Is that your hope and goal, that it's not a contested convention?
I think so. I'm the only one that can do that. I think so. I love this, good. That would be what I'd like to do. I'd like to be able to close it out. I think it's all about, we want to make America great again, and we're going to do that. We're going to do it. And people understand that. We seem to be doing very well in places that I thought we'd be doing well, and we've done. I won the entire South. We won Alabama and Arkansas and Florida. By the way, Florida was a tremendous victory, and. It's sort of funny. I went to South Carolina, and I was expected to not win there, and we won in a landslide. We won New Hampshire. We won Massachusetts. A lot of diverse states. So I've had an amazing period of time, and I've gotten to know the people in this country. And we have great people, I can tell you. We have amazing people.
I want to especially talk, Pittsburgh went through a very tough economic transition, and they're coming out on the other side of it because of the people in this room in part. I want to ask you first, though, about Colorado in particular.
Right. Because
you said you felt it was rigged, it was a disgrace. Reince Priebus, the head of the RNC, said, wait a minute, everybody knew what the rules were ahead of time. Did you abide by the rules? Why do you feel it was rigged? Should you have maybe spent more time there?
Well, first of all, when I joined, Lion Ted, you're right about that. When I went into the race, which was in the middle of June, after that, they changed the whole thing in Colorado. And they changed it. I would have done great in Colorado. And instead, they have this arcane system that nobody understands. My people, my delegates went there. They wouldn't put them on the list. And then they even did never Trump after the whole thing was over. Somebody in the local GOP.
The Colorado GOP did tweet out, we did it, never Trump.
Yeah. It's a fix. It's the politicians. And, I don't know if you folks know, but I'm funding my own campaign. They hate that because they have no control. They don't like it. And what I'm saying is give it to the voters. And as you probably have heard, on Friday, they're going to have a mass demonstration in Colorado where people are just furious. The Republican folks, they've taken their vote away. They didn't even have the right to vote. And I think it's a very sad situation. And we have, even here, if you win because I have, as you know, a big lead, like 20 some odd points, and that's a big lead. But that's the good news. The bad news is that I think you get 17 delegates. and the rest of the delegates
70 some odd
are
delegates,
appointed.
and you actually end up voting for the delegate, not Donald Trump,
That's right.
in the state of Pennsylvania.
That's right.
Yeah.
And you know, the bad part, the unfair part, I tell you right now, because if anything, we're going to clean this whole thing up because we have to bring the voter back into it. The bad part is I could win, really true. I could win Pennsylvania by a landslide. Right now, I'm leading by many, many points. I could win Pennsylvania by a landslide, get 17 delegates, and somebody else could get like 35 or 40, and they didn't even win, but they have connections into the machine. It's not right. It's not right. So you know what I'm doing? And now, in the meantime, I don't want to be complaining too much because we're winning big in delegates, we're winning big in votes, but it's still unfair. It's still unfair.
Do you believe, when you heard John Boehner say that he wanted Paul Ryan, that you can nominate anybody on the convention floor, and Karl Rove said we need a fresh face, and Mitt Romney came out with his strategy, and there were state GOP representatives that have all said, well, it could be somebody that didn't run. And now Paul Ryan said, no, it's not going to be me. It should be one of the people running. But clearly there are people that want to circumvent and disenfranchise the voters. What do you say to them?
Well, I think when a guy like Karl Rove said we need a fresh face, he's absolutely right. We have to get rid of him because his face is just terrible. You know, I don't know if you remember the fiasco, but if you listen to Karl Rove, he thinks Romney won. He's still thinking, he's walking around saying, didn't Romney win? I thought Romney won. Romney choked. He did a terrible job. I mean, the guy was terrible. But look, we do need fresh ideas. Who's a fresher face than me? I've never done this before.
Let me ask this. Look, politics, we always like to say, is a blood sport. And you know what? It's a rough and tumble sport. It's not for the faint-hearted. It's you've been hit hard, you hit hard. It goes back and forth. I'm a little concerned that at the end of this process, that I worry, if you look at social media, for example, Cruz people hate Trump people hate Cruz people, and my fear is,
I have a feeling that name is going to be sticking with it.
Like, I don't want to hear, I'm a conservative, and I'm never Hillary. That's what I want to see happen, and I think the only way to do that is,
I agree.
Can you unite the party?
I think we're going to have a great united party. And I've been a united. You know, we have a president right now who's a great divider. He's one of the great dividers of all time. Believe it or not, I'm a united. Now, we started off with 17 people. I had 17 people, meaning I had 16 people hitting me from every angle that you've ever seen. And we hit back, obviously, harder and better, and they're all gone. I mean, most of them are gone. And I will tell you, it's a little bit tough. You know, like when I saw Jeb Bush. Jeb Bush, I didn't want to ask for his endorsement because I hit him very hard. What was the term we used, folks? Low energy? And I don't care. I don't care so much about that, but I will tell you, the party has to unify. We should unify, and we're going to beat Hillary very badly. And if you look at Ronald Reagan.
Have you thought of a nickname for her yet?
I have, actually. I'll release it on one of your next shows, but I don't want to do it.
I think they want to hear it now.
No. We have some good ones. We have some good ones.
Are we going to hear? But you do have a name picked out for Hillary.
Well, you know, I'd like to use Lion, but we already used it for Ted. We don't want to use it twice, right?
Oh.
No, I actually have, I think, a pretty good name. You know, I've come up with some pretty good names during this campaign. And we have a pretty good one, I think, but we'll try it out here first in about a month. Is that okay?
All right, we'll come back in a month. In a recent interview, you actually named names. You named John Kasich. You named Marco Rubio. You named Scott Walker is another one, and you said a lot of positive things about him, even though they were your opponents. What does that mean? How do we interpret that? Are any of those people on your list if you win the nomination to be vice president?
No, I was really saying I think they're nice people. I get along with these people. I like these people. Again, I've hit them very hard. They hit me and I hit them, and it was always counter, right? It was always counter. But we hit them very, very hard, and they disappeared. Don't forget, when I first did this, Jeb was automatically going to get it. Well, he was gone. Then Walker was going to get it, and he was gone. Then Marco, and I did very well in Florida. We won by 20 points. And, you know, all of them. And it's hard because it's hard to say, would you endorse me? I mean, would you endorse me after what we went through? So I'm not looking for that. What I am looking to do is unify the people. Here's the problem. Just like this, just like Colorado. And I tell you what, I would love to get to that march in Colorado or whatever they're going to have, because I hear it's going to be unbelievable. The voters want to take it back. They want to take it back from politicians.
You have said, though, in terms of a VP, you want and you're looking for somebody with political experience.
Yeah, I do think that. I mean, look, I have great business experience. I built a great company. I borrowed $1 million, and I turned it into $10 billion over a relatively, which is good. And with some of the great assets of the world, Turnberry and buildings all over the place, you know, just some of the great assets, Doral in Miami, and great stuff. And it's so good. And you know the truth, I don't say it from a bragging standpoint. I say it because that's the kind of thinking, at least for a period of time until we straighten it out, that's the kind of thinking our country needs. We have to have that. We owe $19 trillion.
You know, the last time I interviewed you with your wife, and she was very strong in telling you that she, quote, wanted you to be more presidential, maybe stop tweeting late at night. You seem to have regained your footing. You went through probably the toughest 2 weeks in the campaign.
I didn't think it was. I didn't think. Yeah. I mean, they said, you know, because I've had these moments where they said, Trump is finished, he's finished, and then the poll comes out and I'm higher. You know, I say, what happened? But, you know, we've had about 6 of those moments. I didn't think it was that tough. You know, what people don't know, Wisconsin, I was not supposed to do well in Wisconsin. It wasn't supposed to be my place, which is okay. And I got 35 or 36%. And that's a lot. And, you know, a governor with a state much closer got, you know, a much, much smaller number, a very small number. And the entire thing was stacked. They spent millions of dollars on negative ads. You had radio hosts. The whole thing was like a big deal. And Walker doesn't like me much because I got him out of the race. He was another one. He was supposed to win, right? Do you remember Walker was supposed to win? 3 weeks later, it's called bye-bye.
You're going to give a series of speeches, though. You gave a speech at AIPAC. You're giving a series of really serious policy speeches, and about 10 of them.
I'm going to give about
with a teleprompter, serious, well-written,
written by me, but written by me and experts. And you know, look, I believe strongly in policy. I believe strongly in being smart. I was asked on a show recently about NATO, and I said, well, I'll tell you, you know, I've never been too much into a great scholar. Yeah, 68 years old, and I said it's obsolete, and everyone said, oh, that's terrible. And then they looked at it and they said, well, he's right. And here's the other thing: you have 28 countries. We pay for most of it. So why is the United States paying for 28 countries? We're defending them. They have to start paying. And a lot of these countries are very rich countries.
We got to take a break. When we come back, I think one of the more important questions is, how would a Trump presidency impact for the better the lives of the people in this room? Okay. We'll take a break. We're on the road. It's Hannity. Donald Trump's with us for the hour. As we continue from the Steel City, Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Stay with us. And welcome back to Hannity, and we are in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, and we continue for the entire hour on the road with GOP President Donald Trump. You know, I have personally so much admiration for people that I know in Pittsburgh. I have friends in this audience here tonight, and this city, really do. But this city, with the steel industry, has gone through an economic transformation and difficult times. And I know that this is representative of a lot of America. And I know that probably everybody here wants to hear, how specifically are you going to help them so they can save money and pay for college and get a new car and live in a safe house and a nice neighborhood?
So our jobs are being taken away from us like we're like taking candy from a baby. I use the expression, it's like taking candy from a baby. We have people that are incompetent running our country. We don't know what we're doing. Our jobs are going to Mexico. China is dumping steel all over the place. By the way, all over the world, just so you feel better. But China is dumping steel. Your steel mills, I see what's going on. This was the steel capital of the world by far, nothing close. And now I see what they're doing. And, you know, before I came today, because I'm making a speech where we have thousands and thousands of people right after this, And I said, give me some statistics. And it's unbelievable how you've lost your manufacturing jobs. You've lost your steel jobs. You look at what's happened with U.S. Steel and all these great companies, these once, these incredible companies. And it's being taken because of devaluation, all of the devaluations. It makes it impossible. It makes it impossible for the companies to compete. And we're losing our jobs. Companies are moving to Mexico. Mexico is becoming the new China. And we got to stop it. And we're going to stop it. And what they're doing, especially in Asia, but especially China, you look at what they're doing with the dumping. But forget the dumping. What they're doing with devaluation of their currencies is just unbelievable. And we have people that don't do anything about it because our politicians are all taken care of by lobbyists and special interests, and they're told not to do anything. It's not that they're stupid. They're told not to do anything.
But I guess it's a razor's edge in some ways, because you're saying you're going to negotiate free and fair deals. But OK, let's say we limit some of the imports from China, Vietnam, depending on what the product happens to be. That also means American consumers are going to end up paying more.
Well, no.
How do you manage that?
Because we're going to have more jobs. And you know what? You may pay a little bit more, but you're going to have better jobs and you're going to have more jobs. People never say that. These people that don't know what they're doing, I'm a free trader, okay? But the problem with free trade is you have to have leaders on your side that know what the hell's going on. They don't know what's going on. And we don't have those leaders. We have leaders that don't have a clue. You look at what's happening. I usually, it's just one company. I hate to pick on them all the time, but I talk about Ford. I talk about Nabisco. I talk about Carrier Air Conditioner. They're moving to Mexico. They let go of 1,400 people. Wonderful people. I watched it on screen.
So when they want to bring their products back, what do?
We do nothing. We let them come in. No tax, no nothing. They fire everybody. They move to Mexico. They make their air conditioners. They sell them across the border, which now is going to be a very strong border, folks, by the way. It's not going to be... Watch this. Wait. Watch this. Are you guys ready
for it?
Who's going to pay for the wall? And by the way, 100%. The politicians say they'll never pay. 100%.
They're not going to write us a check, but
they'll pay in one form or another. They may even write us a check by the time they see what happens. They may.
Let me go back to getting
Sean. I have great respect, and the Hispanics, you saw in Nevada, I won the poll with the Hispanics and a lot, because I'm going to produce jobs. They want jobs. People that are here legally want jobs. But let me just tell you, Mexico, I have good relationships. The problem is their leaders are too smart and too cunning for our leaders. Our leaders don't know what we're doing. And Mexico, we're going to build the wall. But let me tell you, without the wall, Mexico could stop 90% of the problems just by being tough. They don't want to stop.
How long would it take you to build?
To their advantage.
How long? You're president. It's your first day in office. How long will it be till that wall's complete?
Well, I would say it'll be complete within 2 years from the time we start. We'll start quickly. And it'll be a real wall. But I'll tell you this. Last week, I was endorsed by 16,500 Border Patrol people. First time. And of course, a couple of months ago, Sheriff Joe Arpaio, who's phenomenal. And this guy knows about the borders, right, folks? But Sheriff Joe endorsed me. But 16,500 Border Patrol people, they've never endorsed any presidential candidate before.
Yeah.
And they endorsed me because they know, they want to do their job. When you let them do their job, and when you put pressure on Mexico to stop what's going on, you're going to need the wall. You're going to always want the wall. But you know what? It will not be nearly as necessary.
Let me go back to the economy, because this is so important. 95 million Americans out of the labor force. 50 million. This is not a joke. We all know people in poverty. We all know people on food stamps. It used to be in my radio career early on, if anyone lost their job, I can get them a job. I can't get them a job anymore. So the question is, between trade, what else? In other words, how many jobs could we create by becoming energy independent?
Do you know how many millions of jobs have been taken out of our country? And this area is a prime area. Another area where we're really concerned, you look at upstate New York, it's devastation. It's devastation. That's why I go up there. We had 21,000 people in Albany. the other night, 2 nights ago, we have 6,000, 7,000 people. It's like a routine crowd. These people are desperate for jobs, and they want their businesses back. And by the way, a thing that's never mentioned, rules and regulations. They put regulations on people and businesses that make it impossible for us to compete. And you look at the people we're competing against, they have no regulations. So
back
we're
to
going to
energy.
straighten it out.
Do you think, let me go back to this side. If you become president, it's your first day in office. I hate the fact that we rely on countries that hate our guts for energy, which is the lifeblood of our economy. So my question is, how quickly could we be an energy independent country?
Well, very quickly. I mean, we have technology today that allows us to do things. As an example, this state, they have decimated your coal mines. They have decimated your workers. They have decimated. And, you know, you have things called clean coal. You know what we do? First of all, the mines are almost, they're going to be gone. They're going to be extinct, and they shouldn't be. Coal is great. Coal, you know, we have 1,000, listen to this stuff, 1,000-year and probably more supply of coal for energy, and we're not allowing to use it. And you know what we do with it? We send it to China, and China uses it, okay? The little that we produce now. I'm going to open them up, and we're going to have clean coal. We all want clean coal. We're going to have clean coal, but we're going to open the mines up. In West Virginia, it's devastated because of what they've done. Parts of Pennsylvania are devastated.
We're the Saudi Arabia of natural gas. We have more than any other country.
So much, but we can have that. We should have everything. We should have everything, including renewables. But the problem with the renewables, look, I know more about renewables than any human being on earth because I understand it from a practical standpoint. I love solar. Solar's great. Problem is, it's a 30-year payback. You know, it isn't the technique. It's not there yet. It's a somebody said, oh, it's really wonderful, 32-year payback. Who's going to get 32-year payback? And it doesn't have big power.
Are there millions of jobs, for example, for people in this crowd, are there millions of jobs in the energy sector if we commit as a country to energy independence?
There's millions of jobs in everything. We're losing
Would you like those jobs? We got to take a break. We have a lot more. We're with Donald Trump. We're on the road. We're in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. It's Hannity. On the road, we'll continue. More with Donald Trump straight ahead. Welcome back to Hannity, and we're coming to you from the Soldiers and Sailors Memorial Hall. We're in beautiful Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, 2016 Republican presidential frontrunner Donald Trump is with us for the hour. By the way, you met with Megyn Kelly today. How did that go?
Well, you know, she called last week, and they set up a meeting. They said, could we come up? And I said, would you come to Trump Tower? Because, you know, I didn't want any confusion. And she did. And she was very, very nice. And we had a meeting, and she was very nice. I mean,
okay.
You know, she really was.
We don't know?
No, I think it was just, maybe it was time, or maybe she felt it was time. And by the way, in all fairness, I give her a lot of credit for doing what she did.
Okay.
Because I don't know, that took a certain amount.
By the way,
let's see what happens.
A guy who said he's a delegate just gave you the terrible power. All right. A lot of people have watched the Republicans. The Democrats have even a more corrupt system because Hillary Clinton and Bernie would be neck and neck if it weren't for these so-called superdelegates. So here's my question. As hard as you have fought against your Republican opponents, I want to know, at least if you won't give us the name, talk about, if you become the candidate for the Republicans, talk about how you will combat the Clinton machine, which will claim you're racist and sexist and on and on and on.
Which is all false. First of all, I have to say, when you say the Democrats, they have a terrible system also. And, it's interesting because I'm not a fan of Bernie at all. I think he's terrible. But when you look, he wins. He's winning.
8 out of 9.
And then I'll listen to you and you'll say, but he'll never win. Okay, so, he wins all the time. It's run by the politicians. It's run by the machines on both sides. And the Republicans are a little bit different. In the Republican case, like we talk about Pennsylvania, you win in Pennsylvania and you get 17 delegates and 35 or 40 or whatever the number may be. So many can go to somebody that didn't even win.
They actually list the delegate names here, but you're right. That doesn't necessarily mean even if you win.
The bosses can give that out. So the people's vote doesn't mean that much. It's really bad. And that's why they're having massive problems right now. I'm so happy to see it, but they're having, because we want to give the vote back to the people. And the reason what we have to do, and Sean, the reason they do it is because they want to keep everything within the establishment. You know, they don't care. I almost don't even think they care who wins and who loses. They want to keep it within the establishment. They want to run things. They want to have the money. You know, massive amounts of money are being made.
And power.
Massive, and they want to have the power. They don't want to lose the power.
Go to Hillary. Imagine it's a general election matchup. It's you, your VP, versus Hillary and her VP. You were hard against some Republicans. Will you be twice as hard against her?
I think I'll be much harder. I think it's a lot easier. She's a target that's easier. Really.
Talk about that.
I mean, I was very hard on some Republicans. Some people would say too hard because, you know, it's tough to bring them back. So I say, don't worry about it. You don't have to endorse me. You know, I've told a couple of them, don't endorse me. That's okay. Although I will say this, you'll be amazed. People that you would never think that want to get onto, yeah, they call it the Trump train. I don't know what, you know, I feel. People that you wouldn't believe call me and call my people and they say, we want to get on, we want to get on. It's a very amazing thing. And I actually said to one of them, there's no way you can endorse me after what we've been through, because we had great victory, but it was a rough.
Well, they want access.
You know what they want? They just don't care. They say, no problem. And you know why? Because they're politicians. It's no problem. To me, it's a problem. To them, it's not a problem. And I say, there's no way. And they say, there's no problem. I say, so you'll see names coming out fairly soon of people that are endorsing me that you won't even believe.
But Hillary
at the highest levels.
Hillary Clinton, in almost every poll, about 2/3 of Americans believe she's dishonest, untrustworthy. She has a 55% unfavorable.
You know, I really think she's got a lot of.
What are her weaknesses?
Well, first of all, I don't think she has the strength or the stamina to be a great president. Do you ever see Hillary? She'll go to one event and then you won't see her for a long time. Then she'll go to an event, you won't see her. And you need tremendous strength. You need tremendous stamina. She doesn't have the strength. She doesn't have the stamina. She's totally controlled by special interests. Look at the money she's raising from Wall Street and all these people. I'm not raising any money. You know, it's interesting. I have Wall Street guys that I know sort of all, and they want to give me tens of millions of dollars. I say no.
You can send them my way.
Weird.
I'll take it.
You know, it's not my life. My whole life is I like take money, right? That's what I'm supposed to do, and I will. But I'm going to take money for the people. We're gonna make this.
I think you're holding it close to the vest. How hard you're going to hit?
Oh, you have no idea. You have no
And if they hit back, is everything on the table?
Yeah, I don't care. I mean, to me, it doesn't matter.
That's the way it should be.
You know, when I won Florida, there were 38,000 negative ads. Can you believe it? I had this big tournament at Doral where Adam Scott, you know, the great Adam Scott player from Australia, he's winning. And before they gave him the trophy, they did 4 negative commercials on me. I said, turn those televisions off. They were all over the place. That was my tournament at Doral. It was the World Championship. The Cadillac World Championship.
To the Donald Trump tournament. Here's an ad for Marco Rubio.
Oh, it's terrible. Yeah. And I knew it was going to happen. Every time you couldn't turn on a television in Florida without that week before the big deal. And I won. In fact, I said, there's no way I could win Florida with all these never. But the worst thing, so we're getting ready to hand the trophy to great Adam Scott, who's a great player from Australia, one of the top players in the world. He had just made this incredible shot on the 18th hole, chipped it way up, right? So he wins the tournament by 1 stroke. And everybody's going crazy, thousands and thousands of people. And they say, and now for a commercial. Before we, and I'm saying, oh no, I hope it's not. One after another. And I have all these people from Cadillac and from the PGA. They're all looking at these horrible ads. And I said, there's no way I can win Florida. I won it by 20 points.
We'll take a break. We're in Pittsburgh with GOP frontrunner Donald Trump. It's Hannity on the road. Stay right there. We'll talk about ISIS and, of course, all the issues of the day. Straight ahead. We're in the Steel City. We're in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, and we continue with 2016 Republican GOP frontrunner Donald Trump. All right. I am nervous for our children and our grandchildren. There's a cute little girl in the front row here that I talked to earlier, and She brought up about the safety and security of our country. Specifically, you have said we're going to bomb out of ISIS.
Right.
Do you really believe, do you think it's going to take boots on the ground? Do you think we're going to have to send guys back? Do you think this is an ongoing war that's going to last for generations?
Well, first of all, you know, I was very, very strong on people coming into this country, and nobody wanted to mention it. Nobody wanted to talk about it. And I was very, very strong. And, you know, we're going to have to get a lot tougher, a lot smarter, a lot more vigilant. Otherwise, we're going to have problems like you've never seen before. You know, we used to have armies. You'd fight Japan or you'd fight Germany. They had uniforms on. Now we have people, we don't know who they are. We're letting thousands and thousands of people in our country right now. They have no documentation. There's no paperwork. Nobody knows who they are. They could be ISIS. Some might be ISIS. We better be really careful. And I can tell you, the people that are coming into the country, sadly, they're going to have to go out because we have no idea. We have no idea what we're doing. We have no idea. So, and they're coming in from Syria, and you know, I spoke with a lot of great experts in terms of safety and borders, and they say there is absolutely no idea to judge when you don't have any documents. Now, ISIS is also now making passports. You saw that. They stole the passport machines, so they're now making passports. These are very slick customers. We're going to have to knock the hell out of them. I will say this. I will say this. I don't want to put people, you know, we've spent probably, if you add it up, probably $5 trillion over there. In the meantime, our country is falling apart. Our infrastructure is falling apart. I was against the war in Iraq right from the beginning, but you shouldn't have gotten out the way they got out. When you look at Obama, what he did.
Take the oil and let him pay for it.
I said, take the oil.
Right.
I said, take the oil. I wrote about Osama bin Laden. I wrote about Osama bin Laden in a book that was published 2 years before the World Trade Center.
And you talked about Brussels ahead of time.
I said about Brussels. Oh, the New York Times, they killed me. I talked about Brussels. I said 5 months ago, Brussels is a hellhole. And the New York Times did a major story. What right do I have to say that? And then they had the problem. But I was right.
But is bombing, do you think, going to be enough, or is it going to be a combination? And is it one of those cases where America, it seems, always has to do the heavy lifting?
Yeah. Let me just say, if we had leadership, we can get other people with the boots. You have the courage. You have people that are willing to fight. But, you know, we don't arm the right people. We don't give the Kurds what they want, but we give other people, and a bullet's fired in the air, they run. I have a friend whose son is over there three sessions. I mean, he's been over there for a long time.
3 tours.
And, you know, he comes back. He said the saddest thing is when the enemy has better equipment than we have. And you know where they get it? We give it to people. We don't know who we're giving it to. A bullet's fired in the air. They run, and the enemy, ISIS or whoever it may be, takes the equipment, and they now have better and more modern equipment than we do. And we're the ones that put it over there. Look, we have to be so strong. They're chopping off heads. And, you know, during one of the debates, they asked a question about waterboarding. And they asked it to Cruz. And he didn't want to answer it. He didn't want to talk because... Hey, only in Pittsburgh. Only in the home of Big Ben, who we love, right? We love Big Ben. He's a friend of mine. But he's a good guy, and he's a tough cookie. We could use a little more of that attitude.
True.
But they talked about waterboarding, and he didn't want to get involved with it. And they asked me, they said, what do you think about waterboarding? I said, I think it's fine. And then they said, well, what else? I said, if we can do more than that, it's good. Think of this. They're chopping off heads and drowning people in big steel cages, and we can't waterboard. Okay? That is not the secret to success, that I can tell you. And one of the things we have to do, we have to take their wealth away.
Do you think this is
We're not taking their wealth away. We're not bombing the oil. We're sending leaflets down. In an hour, we may be bombing your truck. Please remove yourself from... We don't know what we're doing.
Do you think this is generational, or do you think we could literally, because I think this is these are the modern day Nazis. This is evil in our time.
It's very evil.
And I want to know, is this generational, or can we actually win that war?
I think you can win it, but you're going to have to be very tough. You're going to be really smart.
And you're prepared to fight that to the end.
You know what? This is not like fighting Germany. This is not like fighting these countries that we were able to beat. This is 35,000 people, and they laugh at us, at our stupidity. They can't even believe it. No, think of it. It's true. When we bomb, we send leaflets down. We're going to be bombing your truck. We don't know. You know that, and this is true, they don't want to bomb some of the oil because they don't want to create environmental impact. Do you know that? They don't want to create...
We tell our military, we literally tie their hands. They have rules of engagement that they can't shoot and fire even if fired upon.
So Hillary goes into Libya, and you have the Benghazi problem, you have all the things. But she goes in. Now, who has Libya? Who has it? ISIS has it. And they have great oil. And you know what happens with the oil? They're selling the oil. We don't do anything about it. We don't create a blockade. We don't do anything.
We got to take a break. I don't mean to interrupt you. When we come back, we'll have more with Donald Trump. We'll get audience questions in as we continue from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Welcome back. It's Hannity on the road tonight in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania with Donald Trump, the GOP 2016 frontrunner. All right, we have questions. Sir, how are you?
Good. How are you? Thank you. Welcome to Pittsburgh, Mr. Trump.
No pressure. No pressure.
So, as a college student, people are constantly telling me you should be a liberal, but I'm not so sure about that. Why should college students vote for you, Mr. Trump?
Because I'm going to create jobs. You know, the biggest problem... I have dealt with more college students than I ever thought possible, and they're incredible people, and they go to good colleges, they do well, some are top of their class, and they come up to me and they borrow to the hilt, and they're all, you know, they don't know what's going on because they can't get jobs, and they can't get good jobs. And even the other side will admit that the jobs that are being produced they call them bad jobs, they're not good jobs. They used to be good jobs. Our good jobs are gone. And it's very unfair. I will create so many jobs that the kids in college are going to be so happy. We're going to bring our jobs back.
Ma'am, you get the last question tonight. Hi.
Take the other end. Hi, Donald. As a young person, I'm concerned with the future of Social Security. So I was wondering, do you have any thoughts on what will happen to Social Security in the future?
We're going to save Social Security. We're going to save it. I'm the only one that wants to do this, and some people would say that's not very Republican of you or conservative of you. We're going to save it. People have been paying into their security for years and years. We're going to save Social Security. We're bringing our money back. We're bringing our jobs back. We're going to bring our wealth back, and we're going to save it, and Medicare. Okay? Thank you.
All right, we got time for one more question. Sir, yes, go ahead.
Yes, Mr. Trump. I have a question on the delegate situation. We have seen in this country that obviously there are other powers that help run that system, and we've seen that delegates have been stolen from you and other candidates that are rightfully winning them. What is your plan to, as far as going forward, to keep that from happening and to keep the delegates?
We got 30 seconds.
The only thing that can happen is the people have to demand it. The Republicans and even the Democrats, they have to demand a fair system because it's not democracy. It's not fair. It's not right. If I come in and win, as an example, I come in and win Pennsylvania, and then you find out that you get a small number of delegates and some guy can steal it because he's friendly with the machine. It's no good. It's not a good system, and it's got to be changed, or you're going to lose a lot of people. You see what's happening? Colorado is literally, they're rioting out there right now.
We got to take a break.
Got to be changed.
We'll come back. More from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. It's Hannity on the road with Donald Trump. Straight ahead. Welcome back to Hannity. Pittsburgh, do you have a good time tonight? Thank you for being with us. Unfortunately, that's all the time we have left this evening. Mr. Trump, thank you so much.
Thank you,
Great to see you. Pittsburgh, we love you. Thank you for coming out.